Okay. Final 1, 2, 3. Check.
Check.
You know, I genuinely did not think it was going to be this difficult to start a podcast. I can't even say the amount of times I've wanted to quit so far.
Yeah. And this is officially our first episode.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Can you hear us out there?
Please tell me that you can, because if you can't, I think we're going to have to do that meetup at Staples to return everything.
Yeah.
Mike Stantz will be the first one to go.
Mike Stantz.
If anyone out there wants to start a podcast, don't. Go rent all the equipment somewhere.
Reconsider.
Hire a producer.
There's some great podcasting studios available for rent.
I know. Including my house now. If anybody would like to come here and use the setup. Can't promise it's going to work, but I'll rent it out to you.
You got to prop the mic stands up against the wall.
They're doing good so far.
Okay.
I don't think I see it moving.
Nope. So far. We'll see during post.
Like, what is it like starting a podcast or starting a business with two perfectionists who both have OCD?
We have fucking great branding.
We do. We're great at the branding. Honestly, we could do branding for anybody, I feel like.
Yeah. Do you guys needed branding?
But anything technical, do not trust us.
Yeah.
I keep looking over to make sure that it's recording us.
And you know what? Technically, we are generally pretty smart humans.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, we're not stupid. So I'm so confused as to why it has taken us 2 months to get all this equipment to work. Unfortunately, we still can't get our cameras to work with the equipment.
Yeah.
Imagine that, 2 photographers using their cell phones for their video footage.
Coming to us via iPhone.
I think 10.
We got 3 gens going.
iPhone
the 16, 15.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So hopefully our video quality is decent enough.
So, full disclosure. Last night when we were recording our very first episode with a guest.
Before we actually recorded with each other.
Before we even sat down and practiced with each other. So I'm going through and I'm editing the footage last night. And I start having like creepy and crazy flashbacks. Of when we were like child actors.
Should we get a little take 3?
Just put like a little picture of like little baby Hannah and Heather acting on the screen real quick. No, but like I feel like this has actually triggered something inside of me. Like you come over to the house and you can tell I'm on edge when things aren't working. I've been a bitch. And I know that. But it's so overwhelming starting something new and starting something that does kind of trigger something inside of you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the people pleaser in me comes out. I'm like, it has to be perfect. The lights and the cameras went on yesterday and you and I were both like, ding! Like, let's act instead of being totally normal.
My autism came out.
Oh, God. Yeah, the autism really is shining bright with us right now. But
we're self-diagnosed. But we definitely have spectrum traits.
I've talked with plenty of doctors. All the doctors that have come in for boudoir sessions. No, I don't know why. I feel like I have to keep reminding myself that I don't need to put on a show.
Yeah.
And I don't have to put on like a persona or pretend to be someone that I'm not.
I do have to put on a not scrambled face.
Yeah. Every once in a while, when you guys are watching this footage, just wait for Heather's like lobotomy face to kick in. Like, she's like zones out with her mouth open a little bit and like eyes go blank. There's nobody there. We're in reboot mood.
I reboot a lot.
Honestly, same.
I tell my clients when I'm shooting with people, sometimes I'll just stop and stare. And it's really just me like looking for light or like looking at an angle, but I literally just look like my batteries
just
died.
Just a full reboot. Get off in the distance. It happens to the best of us, honestly. I mean, sometimes you're just in a full-blown conversation with me too, and I just stop and I like look off into the distance. That's the difference between us. We were talking about this the other day. Is like when you reboot making eye contact with somebody, like eyes locked. when I reboot, I am like looking up into the air, like I get lost into a thought or like visualizing something, but you just reboot right into someone's eyes and they're like looking around the room.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hopefully the audio is okay with me just like laughing my ass off the whole time.
I know. We have to practice our laughs like ha 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 ha. Just laugh away from the microphone.
I like your earrings.
Thank you. I like your earrings.
Oh, thanks.
Are those ones Taylor just gave you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, these are from Taylor too.
Ooh.
Taylor Soul Designs. She's our stylist, my roomie, and she's always giving me all the goodies. Of course, I don't have my neck on right now. But
custom jewelry designs.
Yeah, she's my girl. My little hand chain thingy.
I love that you keep making eye contact and I am holding yours.
Lobotomized right to my eyes. No, but I did write down some questions because I was actually afraid that we were going to sit down in front of the camera again and fully blink.
Yeah.
Like trauma kicks in, the lights, camera, action happens, and you're like going into people pleasing mode, and then it just like shuts down your nervous system.
Yeah. And we're either stupid and we don't talk about anything useful, or
which is typical, I feel like. Two very smart people can have some pretty dumb conversations.
Super dumb.
But I feel like those are great.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's great to just
hopefully
sit back,
you guys are here for it.
Laugh. Yeah. But I'm going to ask you a question.
Ooh.
We're going to kind of interview each other in this one. I feel like whether people have just gotten to know us or they've been following us for a long time, I feel like there's a lot of things that people don't know about us. And I feel like it'd be really nice to invite them in.
I think people are going to find out from this podcast that I don't really know much about myself.
But that's okay, though. Like, what a journey it is to find yourself. Hold on, I gotta fix my mic. Okay, so starting this podcast, like I've said, has brought up like little triggers. Okay. And I feel like that was a big reason to why it's taken us so long, because that perfectionism has kicked in and like nothing is working the way that we want it to. But like ultimately deep down, right, I want to talk about why we've decided to officially launch the podcast. What it was that made us finally bite the bullet and just say like, we're going to do it. We know we can't be perfectionists. We know that we're learning something totally different. And I don't know about you, but I have not started anything from square one in a really, really long time.
I start a lot of things from square one, but I never finish them.
Facts. I can agree with that. So I want to talk about what finally made us say yes to this. And I feel like I had a lot of reason to want to do this, because as I'm photographing people and as people are coming into the studio, it has been so crazy to get to know all these women. And it's been so incredible to sit down and talk with all these people and just see how different, but how similar we all are, right? And I feel like I've fallen in love with this career, being a boudoir photographer, because I've been able to actually get to know the people that I'm photographing. Whereas like with weddings, you know, sometimes like the day is just way too chaotic. You can't really sit down and get to know people one-on-one the same way. And I am so in love with the psychology of people and really getting to know them on a level that like maybe other people don't even know. Like sometimes when people come into the boudoir chair, they are like, I've never even told my hairdresser this, and my hairdresser knows everything about me.
Yeah, something about people getting naked. They like share their deepest, darkest, like innermost,
intimate moments.
Yeah.
And it has truly helped me connect so much more, not only with the client in the chair, but also with myself. Like the more I find out about someone else, the more I find out about myself. And maybe that's where our differences are, is because I've been doing it for so much longer, boudoir side, and being so intimate with people that it's helped me find myself through that.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Yeah, so it's I don't know, there's something cool about that, about one, someone trusting you so much that they are letting you into their most intimate thoughts and intimate moments, and sometimes trauma, sometimes relationship things. And it's like, how incredible is it to create a safe space that someone can open up to you when they've never been able to do that before?
Yeah. I'm definitely still working on finding myself in that sort of situation. I for sure feed off that energy and, collecting that like revitalization from other people. I think you're really good because you've been in it for so much longer at like giving that revitalization to other people, where I feel like for me, it's like almost like I'm building from their experiences.
I always try to think about like my why every day. Why do I fall in love with this so much? Like, what part of me does this help heal also? Because I feel like I've been on such a self-love journey for such a long time that, how do I say this? Healing other people, inviting other people to open up with me, and inviting other people to talk out their traumas and talk out everything. Sometimes it like validates my own experiences through life, because you don't realize what you're going through can be trauma until someone else brings it up and they're like, that's not normal. You know what I mean? So I feel like the part of me is healing myself through this work. And now that I feel like I've gotten to a point where I am, I would say, a pretty healed person, like I'm pretty happy through life and everything like that, I feel like I'm able to give so much more because my cup is full. And in the beginning, I feel like I was running on such an empty cup trying to just make ends meet, that it's like I was learning as I went, which is where I feel like you are, like learning as we go.
For sure. My cup runneth empty.
My cup floweth over, currently, at least. But what do you feel like is like a big thing for you on why you wanted to be a part of this podcast?
The short answer is adult time to talk to people who aren't toddlers. Deeper, I think I'm really craving connection with other women specifically. Again, for that energy exchange, but also I feel like I need to broaden my horizons in life. I feel like I've sort of lived this sheltered existence.
Okay.
Kind of. And I just feel like there's so much in life that I haven't experienced because I worked for so long in an industry that, I felt kind of tied me down. So I didn't do a lot of like traveling or independence in my younger years. And I just feel like there's so much out there in the world that I haven't experienced any of it. And so sometimes like living these moments vicariously through other people or just learning about things through other lenses is life altering for me. And it kind of makes me feel like I've experienced a little bit more. And it energizes me to actually go out there and experience more. I'm trying to make this like, beginning of my 40s, like a new me, a different me.
I love that.
A purposefully lived life.
I love that. I feel like we've lived very different lives.
Yeah.
Like, for anybody new here, we're sisters. We
Hey.
are 10 years apart.
Yep.
And I feel like our lives from childhood even are just completely different. Like, I feel like we always joke we have like a different mom and dad. Definitely a different mom.
Yeah.
Dad was pretty consistent. But I feel like the way that I ran head first into life.
Yeah.
Where I feel like our other siblings kind of like followed the path more. I feel like I kind of went off the beaten path a little bit more.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not the black sheep, though, I don't think.
No, you're just you.
I'm everyone's favorite, actually.
You being the baby of the family, it's kind of like, okay, so as the firstborn, like I have to carve a path. And I feel like my actions in life, I held a responsibility to be this model sibling so that like I never did anything that got me in trouble. I smoked weed for my first time, like
with me and my boyfriend,
like a month ago. But at 42, almost 42 years old. But like I never got into trouble. I never did anything that would like make me feel like I was a bad kid or that, you know what I mean? Like I just lived a very like straight and narrow life. The only thing that was important to me was being a mom my whole life. And we'll talk about those struggles in another episode. But I felt like my whole life was just like destined to be like raising my siblings because like that's who I was. I was like
Mom
mommy
number
Heather.
two. Yeah.
And eventually like getting married and having a family of my own. Like that was like my whole life goal. Um and so like I never focused on myself, on travel. You know, I feel like I fell out of touch with like a lot of my friends from like high school. I kind of bopped around like friend groups. I wasn't like super popular. I moved like my sophomore year of high school, so I didn't really carry
Yep.
over a lot of like lifelong friends with exception of like a couple people. And so I never really like had that like girl gang vibe. I never had like, you know, but I think I was also like life was different 20 years ago when I was young versus now. You know what I mean? Like even 12, 15 years ago when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, like the world is so different now. Like I feel like there's so much more opportunity as a young woman.
I could agree with that. I definitely think like right now, like if I was in my 20s right now, I joked the other day like I would be a millionaire because it was like I could be like in front of all these trends, right? Where I feel like I'm starting to play catch up now, and I know you feel like you're playing catch up
Oh
even more
God,
behind me.
I'm like running behind the truck.
Please get me. But it's so incredible to think one, the way that we were raised. I can't tell if it's moving or not. Guys, this is why we haven't started the podcast officially. Just equipment malfunctions the whole time. I feel like mom focused so heavily on making sure that we were like good kids, happy, finding good relationships, becoming a mother, and like pushing us towards like the traditional path.
Right.
Right. And that's all that she ever knew either.
Right.
So there's no fault in it. But I definitely feel like I hit a point in my life where, like, right out of high school, it was like, okay, I don't want any of this. I don't think I ever thought about myself as like, I don't know, like that young, dreamy princess getting married one day, like doing all these things. And like, I never had that motherly instinct. Maybe it's because I was a baby. So everyone was just taking care of me.
Probably.
I didn't have to do
Anything.
I mean, I had to do everything myself. But like, when I was like really young, I did have a lot more protection than most, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I had you, who was like my second mom. I had our older brother, Ryan, who was basically like my bully and just like beat me up and taught me to be tough.
Emily was your bully.
I was just going to say that. I take that back. Emily was my bully who taught me to be tough. Ryan was like brotherly love who taught me to be like one of the boys.
Yeah.
And I feel like at a very young age, I could see the dynamic of everybody else in the family.
You know you're going to get in trouble for calling Emily a bully, right?
It's fine. If you deserve it, you deserve it. No, but our relationship is good now. But it's just crazy to think that I asked myself at such an early age, like, who am I? What do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And at a very young age, like I started thinking about traveling and stuff like that in middle school and high school. You know, my first girls trip was to Jamaica when I was 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even drink yet there.
Actually,
I could drink there.
My first girls trip was like in February when we went to Nashville.
Yeah.
Like life's differently lived. Like
very different.
So differently lived.
And very different experiences and very different outcomes and very different, like you're married with a child and now you're starting to find yourself, and I found myself first, and now it's like where my path leads down to next, who knows?
We know we know where it's going,
but hopefully a millionaire summer. Yeah, But it's just crazy to think about, like, the reasons we wanted to start this podcast are so different. Like, you wanted to start it, like you said, for finding community, finding support, finding yourself, talking to people to bring out a part of you that you haven't experienced yet. I want to start it because I've met all these people. I'm comfortable with myself. I know exactly who I am and the path I want to take. And now I want to help people along that way and communicate it, and now communicate it out to all these other people.
You want our audience to be like me.
Yeah.
You want to share everything and everyone you know with people just like me.
And that's the big thing. Like, the other day we were talking about all the guests that are scheduled to come on the podcast, right?
So exciting.
And you're like, I have no clue who any of these people are.
Yeah,
and
I'm
like,
have to do some research sometimes.
But I'm like, okay, I have been talking with these people. I've been marketing with these people. I've been in communities with these people for so long. And it's like, that's exactly the reason I want to do this podcast, is because I have been trying to get you to work for my studio for how many years?
Forever.
And we finally got you last year. It's been almost 2 years now that you've been with Hannah Rachel Photography, Hannah & Co. You are company.
I am Co.
But it's because it's like, okay, I've seen how much this has changed my life, and I'm ready to help other people change their lives. And for you to be my co-host on this, it is so exciting because I feel like I get to witness firsthand, like, a full perspective change.
Yeah.
A full development of, like, who you are and who you can become. And I'm so excited to see how influential these people have been for me and how much they'll change your life and
our audience's life.
Our audience's life. That's the other thing too. I was watching Call Her Daddy, and you know how she calls everybody, like, Daddy Gang? Like, Daddy Gang is her followers. Okay. Our whole theme is the next chapter is hers.
Yeah.
Right? And which is actually kind of funny because, like, I'm definitely a little dyslexic. For me to reference, like, a book in something is kind of wild. And it was fun because I was watching this and she's like, okay, Daddy Gang, here's what's happening today. And I'm like, you know what? We need a Daddy Gang.
Well,
but we can't, they obviously can't be called Daddy Gang, but, like, the next chapter is hers. Like, we are all main characters. That is how I live my life.
Yes.
So our Daddy Gang is actually our main characters.
Main character energy.
Brody, I'm going to need you to stop licking yourself. So yeah, I would like to welcome all of the main characters watching today.
Yes.
Yes. We're going to have, like, t-shirts.
Main character.
We know that we're good. Yeah, main character energy.
Yeah, we're going to have some boss branded t-shirts.
Literally, we are so good at branding. Like, it is another level, honestly. Yeah. So if you're listening, welcome to the chat, main characters. We are so excited to have you here.
So excited.
So excited. You're going to hear that word all the time, I feel like, because I already use the word excited, and now life is getting more exciting. So I'm like, how much more exciting could this be? And that kind of leads me to another one of the topics I wanted to talk about. Why did this podcast matter more than our fear? And I feel like that's a really powerful question, no?
Yeah.
Fear is what stops everybody from chasing any dream.
I don't know if either of our decisions to enter this podcast have any fear in them until we started hooking up equipment and we, like, physically couldn't make it work.
Speak for yourself. I was fucking terrified.
I don't know. I'd follow you anywhere.
That's really sweet, first off. But until you have been, I don't know, I guess there's something so scary about, one, being in the spotlight.
Yeah.
We have no clue what's going to happen with this podcast.
For everyone that doesn't know, we just spent the last 3 hours on tech support because, our recording just stopped.
Yep. We lost all audio and video.
Thankfully, it was like 5 minutes worth of audio, but 3 hours worth of
work.
Frustration.
Okay, so I think I would like to update my biggest fears. I think that I would like to focus on specifically us never being able to release our first podcast episode.
Yeah, because we've been hinting at releasing it for
2 months.
Yeah, like at least 6 weeks.
I think my second biggest fear is we never want to do this again. Like wanting to give up right now. This is why my dog is sitting on top of us.
And we've gone to one camera angle because we're trying to be as
minimalist as possible to avoid any more malfunctions of the technology. But honestly, like, what if we are overcomplicating it?
Yeah.
This is the life of
Perfectionist,
of OCD, of needing to be the best.
What's that saying that the something about perfectionism like stopping you from doing things?
Perfectionism is the death of all something. Comparison is the thief of joy.
It is.
Is that what you were thinking?
No, but it's same vein. It's like don't let the
bed bugs bite.
Yeah. This is going to go in our bloopers reel.
This is why it is so hard that just we were in the middle of having a great conversation.
Super great.
And when that microphone disconnection happened, whatever happened that launched the program into a giant glitch, like my heart sank because I felt like I was on the verge of saying something great. And then it was like, but no one will ever hear it.
Oh, I found it.
Go ahead.
Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
I don't know if I still like that or not.
No?
Let's see. What other advice do they have for us?
It advises against striving for unrealistic perfection as it can lead to delayering action and settling for a worse outcome than a good enough solution.
This right now is our good enough solution. Our one camera, 2 professional microphones, and therapy dog.
Yeah.
But this is honestly one of those like lessons that as I was pulling my hair out, yelling at tech support, running around the house, trying to like, ooh, fa ba, whatever that noise is, like calm my soul.
Woosa. I was cooking dinner.
I was just racing through my head like, what lesson is this for me right now? What am I supposed to be listening to? What am I ignoring in myself that's making this overcomplicated? Like, I'm literally at a loss for words.
Yeah.
Because I'm so frustrated. But you know what? We are 6 minutes in.
It hasn't shut down on us yet. So.
8 minutes was where it shut us down last time.
But it's actually doing stuff on the screen now, so.
My ending closing statement of this very first episode is 1, no matter how hard your dreams get to chase, don't stop.
Yeah.
Because mama didn't raise no bitch. And I ain't no quitter. And there's no way that I'm giving up on this because I know how impactful it can be.
Yeah.
And I am getting emotional because I know we have a voice that needs to be heard. And there is like no part of me that wants to stop trying for that.
Good. We're going to make this fucking happen. Is that the end?
I don't know. I can't think of anything else. And now I just want to cry.
Today was a rough day. It's been a rough couple of weeks.
It has been a rough couple months trying to get this going.
Yeah. This kind of circles back to where we started this podcast episode, that we are smart people. And I feel like I feel like it should not be this hard.
It shouldn't be this hard. And that literally just goes to show, like, life sucks sometimes and you just got to keep going.
Yeah. Persevere. Push through. I think it'll make it worth it more in the end. You keep staying on tech support. I'll keep making dinner.
Poor Kyle tonight. I'm so sorry. If you're Kyle at Riverside, I hope you're not listening. Who knows? Maybe you'll never hear this.
Definitely won't ever hear this.
They're like, we reviewed your video files and we decided to shut down your account. RIP to your podcast. So sorry. Have a great day. Oh, God. Anyways, main characters out there, I really hope you spend the next couple of weeks taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. Get yourself a little therapy dog if you need it, or an older sister, and eat some good food, take a nappy nap.
We'll see you on the next episode.
The next chapter hopefully is ours.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. Our main reason for this podcast. Say goodbye.